So thank you very much for being here. So I'm the last thing between you and an outstanding lunch in the sun. The one thing that we did learn, and we were listening to feedback from all of our customers yesterday and our partners, is we need to give people suntan lotion. So next year, if it's here, we're going to be giving people suntan lotion because we don't want you guys to get burnt. Look, we've heard a lot of exciting things from a lot of different partners, a lot of different celebrities. You know, we heard from Sergey, we heard from Buzz, we heard from Bill, we heard from Hank, we heard from Thomas and Jonathan about what's happening in terms of, innovation, what's happening in terms of disruption, how the world is evolving, yeah? I think it's great to listen to all those leaders and to have those leaders here helping you evolve your cloud strategy and your cloud direction, right? And it's an honor for Ingram Micro to help you do more with more. And what I'm going to present today is I'm going to present to you a couple of major industry trends, nothing overly fancy, yeah? I can't compose music, right? Like, the music was fantastic. I would like to have him here longer and play for us again. I'd like to invite him back and play right now. I think that was one of the highlights for me, listening to my childhood. But I can't do all that stuff, but what I can do with my disproportionately large ears, that is correct, my ears are very big compared to my head, yeah. I can't fly, but I can listen. And what I'm going to try to summarize through the next couple of minutes, and being last is also an honor because you get to listen to all those experts, and then you also have to do something really creative. You have to change your PowerPoint presentation on the fly. So first I got to thank one person that's in the back of the room, Stav, who works with me on all of my different PowerPoint presentations. You guys probably can't see her if she puts her hand up. She's the one that orchestrates all these things at the last minute, changes the agenda for me, and then works with me as I basically change things about 1 minute before the presentation starts, right? That's called being agile. Also want to thank one other person before I go into my PowerPoint presentation. I thank my partners, I want to thank you as customers, but I also want to thank Sean Oberholzer. I don't know if you've seen Sean. Sean's actually there. There's a lot of people behind the scenes. Stand up, Sean. If you're going to buy somebody a beer later on, share a beer with Sean. He's been running around ragged trying to keep this thing together, and he keeps changing the agenda for me. So the one thing that's for sure through all these themes we've seen is the theme of disruption. And I'm going to summarize the theme of disruption into 4 key words, and I want you to remember 4 things and nothing else from my presentation. The first thing is, all companies that you guys have heard over time lose touch with their customers. So they go deaf. The second thing that happens to large companies and organizations over time is they get disintermediated from their business model because they're not listening anymore. They become inwardly focused. The next thing that happens to those companies, employees disengage. And the final step in that process of companies that don't evolve is death. Those are the 4 Ds. They all come from disruption. That's something that I heard as a common theme through everybody here. Our objective here at Ingram Micro is to make sure our partners use our listening skills, use our abilities, and are able to do more with more from all of our insights. And that's why we're investing so heavily for you. So I'm going to present to you in a couple of minutes the ecosystem of cloud, but I'm going to take you guys back. How many people in the room over the age of 40? 40. Okay, so pretty decent group of people, right? How many of you remember this? Right? The acoustic coupler. Right, so you've heard about the internet, you've heard about the Internet of Things, you've heard about this fancy thing called cloud, right? This is a 300 baud acoustic coupler, which used to plug into a telephone. So Kyle's not here anymore, but when me and Kyle were putting this presentation together, Kyle looked at me and goes, "What is that?" That's not that long ago. It's not a century ago. It's about 2.5 decades ago. How many people remember this? Great device, but somebody said it's not also about the device, it's about what? Timing. Buzz said, think about when you're there. Be in the right place at the right time to expose the opportunity. By the way, if you read the data on that, that's a real picture. That screen says 2006, September, only 10 years ago. Anybody know what happened to that device? Anybody still have one? Right? What happened to that device? It still works. I actually still see them inside taxis. They're still there, but it never went mainstream. How many of you guys know these devices? You guys know this one? How many know this? Apple iPhone? How many of you know this device? I got to do this because I'm a BlackBerry fan. You know this one? For all those Canadians, we all still have a BlackBerry. We're still carrying them. We're proud of them. We're strong. Although there's very few of us at this point in time. Those devices have been around a lot less time, but some of them survived and some of them died. You guys can guess which one died. You probably know why. There's a book about it. It's called Losing the Signal. It's about not listening to your customers. It's not about evolving. How many of you have seen this? You guys know what this is? It's HoloLens. Right? I got the pleasure last week of seeing this firsthand. And I can tell you, this is not about technology and innovation that doesn't exist. So you heard even Sergey talk about, what's happening in terms of 3D, what's happening in terms of holograms, what's happening in terms of imaging, what's happening in terms of computing. All of these things are happening, and they're happening at a very fast rate, which when you're doing that, you need to think about who you partner with. We know these trends, right? These are the old trends. Cloud, mobile, and social, we keep talking about them. We keep hearing about them. I think we know they exist. I think we agree they exist. But there's more. You guys saw these numbers during the presentations. You saw analysts say that, it's going to be $200 billion worth of business. It could be $500 billion worth of business. It could be $1 trillion worth of business. What I tell my executives when I talk to them is, don't worry about trying to calculate exactly how big it is. Just think about it's going to be big. And if you want to be big, you need to do more with more, right? How do you become big if you do more with less? So that's why Ingram Micro invests $7.4 billion. You guys heard this number. That's the number of mobile subscribers. $2 billion. You heard this number of Facebook users. Big numbers, right? But are those big numbers? Anybody know what the bottom number is? Anybody know how to say the bottom number? $100 for the person that could say the bottom number. Who knows what it is? Nope. It's pretty strange, right? These are real numbers. And let me go from the top to the bottom. First number, everybody say it with me. What's the first number? $1 billion. What's the second number? $1 trillion. So let me first give you some context. There will be on one of the platforms, and I won't say which one, there's many different platforms of choice, there will be more than 1 trillion transactions a second within 3 months. Wow, that's a lot, right? It's a big number. Okay, what's the next number under the trillion? We all know the trillion. Who said that? Quadrillion, right? Is that a big number? Anybody would like to have $1 quadrillion in their pocket? I mean, then I'd be shredding the rest of it. I'd be shredding the $1 billion bills, right? Think about this, quadrillion. What's the next number? It's called a quintillion. A quintillion. By the way, there's a young guy that helps me with these presentations. Me and him were sitting there. We had to look all this up because none of us knew what these are. We will, in the next 10 years, start talking about these numbers and orders of magnitude. That's called scale, right? You heard about Moore's Law. You heard about all this stuff. All these laws are parts of the past. They are not part of the future. The next number is called a sextillion, and the next number is called a septillion. Will we get there? Well, you could also ask a question, Buzz said is, John F. Kennedy said he's going to put a man on the moon. Will we get to septillion transactions? Gigabytes of data? I think we're going to get there. And I think we're going to get there in a very, very, very short order of time. So I think 2 years from now, we're going to be talking about these numbers, and we're going to make these numbers realities. But keep that in mind. It's about a partner who can bring scale. It's about a partner who understands the dimensions of the problem we're going to be faced with and the challenges we have going forward. What's the next big thing? guys heard this one? Who's heard this? Exas? Exhausted as a service, yeah? We are moving into a service economy. This is a very, very clear thing. We all know this. This is everything as a service. We will start talking about this because it's going to be the next big thing. The funny thing is, most of us already consume many of the things we do as a service. We already do it. It's part of our life. Most of us consume 20, 30, 40 services a week. But now we're going to start delivering more and more, yeah, through those. You know, it's interesting. We had this conversation with a lot of our different partners because we see from a lot of different lenses. You know, he was talking about what's the future for us. And he's here from KPN Yoast. He's a very smart guy. And he talked about the concept with me the other night. He said, look, you've got a control panel, you've got a user, and then in the future, you're going to need to be able to do devices, right? You guys have seen these devices? These are the IoT devices that everybody keeps talking about. These things are real. He told me about a project. I'm going to share it. Hopefully I can share it. He told me about a project which is real-life IoT, which drives productivity and efficiency in the airport in the Netherlands in Schiphol. What it does is there's an IoT device inside the garbage cans, and it tells you how much garbage is in the garbage can. And then it does a route planning to the guy who collects the garbage, telling him which garbage cans he needs to go to, so he doesn't need to stop at every garbage can in the airport. That's called an elimination of a loss of productivity. That means we will become more productive through all these tools, right? Things will continue to change. We, as an organization, need to help you get there. We help our partners who are our suppliers, we help all of the channels, and we try to provide the leadership to get there. So with that, I'm going to introduce you guys to what's called the Ingram micro ecosystem of cloud. Alain Monnier said to you yesterday, we are an organization that's about transparency. We're an organization which is about investment, right? He said, Renee asked, why are we doing better? Do more with more, right? We invest more. We have bigger conferences. It's kind of funny. My other competitor that's in the North American market had to choose the same state and almost the same city to do their conference with. Shame they only have about 200 people there. We have about 1,500 people here. But we do more with more. More partners, more customers, more technology, and more investment. And we will continue to help you do more with more, to solve a very complex problem. The complex problem that we're solving is how do you scale billions of services? Not one. It's not just about, a productivity suite. It's not just about infrastructure as a service. It's not just about collaboration. It's not just about security. It's not just about fraud detection. It's about thousands of different services being consumed by thousands of different users or billions of different users, probably also on Mars. So, what's this look like? On one side, you have all these partners that you saw introduce themselves. Many of them are here, yeah? Our partners that are working with us and, evolving their business from traditional software or traditional infrastructure into services. You heard Hank mention, why he's working with Ingram Micro. I think you'll hear many of the partners. You'll hear Sergey talk about why he works with Ingram Micro. You hear Microsoft talk about why they work with Ingram Micro. Part of it's about the thought leadership. The other thing is that there is a problem in the complexity and scale of everything all of us are doing, right? In the past, you could order some boxes, collect all of the different software in a series of boxes, and then you could install it in one server, and you could deliver the server. Today, you need to engineer connectivity into the APIs of each one of these service providers. This is a very different business. It requires engineering scale because these partners don't have millions of engineers. So they need a way to get to lots of customers without having to engineer one by one by one by one by one. It's called complexity and scale. So we look at that and say, maybe Ingram Micro has been good at doing that in the past and doing software. How do we transform this thing into services? Investing early for almost a decade now in the transformation to cloud. But it's not only about creating those technical interfaces. How many of you have spent time negotiating contracts one by one by one by one? Anybody try to read the contracts now? Even when you go in the end user license agreement, those things are about 60 pages long. It basically says you're signing away your life and everything else, but you never get to the last page to read that in the contract. Our job is to simplify that for you. Bring all that to all the customers without having to go through the pain and the anxiety and the legal fees of trying to write all these contracts. But that by itself is not enough. You need to be able to take all these contracts once you have them and all that technology, all those different APIs, and by the way, every single partner and CSP or infrastructure as a service provider or PaaS provider or SaaS provider uses a completely different standard. Man, that makes it very, very complex if you want to integrate lots of things. Our job, as we're evolving, and we're going to share with you, we're developing what's called an iPaaS. iPaaS is, coined by my friend here, Turker Sokolu, who's the CTO of Ingram Micro Cloud. That's called Interconnectivity Platform as a Service, right? We have our first beta products. I think, where's Maxime? Max? Is he here? Can't see him. If Max is here, Max can introduce it to you later. It's called APS Lite. We're evolving into a place where we can start doing interconnectivity by self-boarding. But we need to do that integration through what we use today, which is called APS. Right? So we connect all these systems together. We make them speak a common language, or it appears that they speak a common language. But we take that complexity out of your hands and we take it into our hands, also for our partners. But that's not enough. Because once we get the interconnectivity done, we get the commercial enablement done, we've gone through, we've selected that solution for our partners. We need to make it consumable for our channels. Right? So one of the biggest issues and challenges that we face with cloud services is the ability to consume them with confidence and ease. You've heard this message from Ingram Micro, I believe, for 3 years. We need to continue making it simple so everybody can consume cloud services. So we now have a product management group that focuses on pricing, user interfaces. We've never done user interfaces before. We look at research about what's the right products. We basically go through a very, very complex process to be able to pick these. And then we package them all together for you so you can consume them as one product. Seems like a lot of stuff, right? Because you need to do more with more, not more with less. And then we take the next step, which is the evolution of products into solutions. So you will see Ingram Micro in the next month and a half launch even more solutions. We will launch a retail solution, right? We're going to launch accounting solutions that you've seen with Marco Persic from Madeira, from Microsoft. More and more solutions to enable you as our partners to generate a much longer term relationship with your customers and to harness more profits for yourself and a long-term revenue stream as this industry shifts. But that's not enough. We have to assist all of our partners in creating the best migration tools. Going out there, partnering on your behalf with companies like Skykick, BitTitan, yeah, to help migrate things to the cloud. By the way, this is a very interesting thing. We're all talking today about what goes up to the cloud. Do you know what's going to be an equally big business? Anybody want to take a guess? Coming back down. Everybody today is focused on what goes up, right? As workloads become persistent, people will start moving things back down. This is a natural cycle of things and compute power and processing. Somebody will build a faster machine that's on-premise. So keep that in mind. Keep that telemetry. Realize why you need to manage all your subscriptions, because you will need to keep an eye on what goes up, so at the right points in time, you can monetize again and bring them back down. But that's not enough by itself. You need to take all this complexity out of the process for yourself in your back office. You need things like consolidated billing, subscription management. You need new tools to do business differently, to do business as a service organization, not a product organization. So even internally inside Ingram, we are changing those processes and tools. We're introducing those processes and tools to you through acquisitions or homegrown development or with partners. But again, trying to get you guys to do more with more. But that's not enough. Because to move into a services economy, to serve customers 7x24, you need to support them 7x24 when they no longer have a data center. And do you really want to deal with all these different partners when you get into what's called the cloud coat of arms? That means that when there's a problem, each one will tell you it's somebody else's problem. What we do for you is we simplify that experience. We take that support hassle from you, or we help you through offering different support options. Again, doing more with more. You've seen the marketplace. We launched a marketplace in the market long before anybody else started this movement. We're proud, we're happy, we're in 20 countries, and we keep expanding. Renee showed you all of the different titles because we need to provide you more SaaS options because we want you to do more with more. We changed the way we enable the channels. You guys know how many different enablement sessions we did for you this week? There are 90 different enablement sessions. From our cloud university to restructuring your sales compensation, teaching, and we developed these programs to again help you do more. Because I do not want you to go back to your organization and do less. Right? My partners that are telcos, my partners that are hosters, MSPs, systems integrators, value-added resellers, enterprises and governments, I want everybody to be able to do more with more. We changed the way we do marketing. You heard about the videos. This is one example of what's different.
But now their businesses need data and apps here and there. But integrating them isn't easy, and managing services or moving workloads isn't exactly fluid. Scaling isn't fun either, unless you can offer Azure. Azure is Microsoft's cloud platform that provides both infrastructure and platform as a service. It offers virtualization, mobile, storage, hosting, backup, and more. With Microsoft Azure as your cloud, you can grow margin, deepen customer relationships, and do more here and there. Power up Azure today with Ingram Micro.
Different way to communicate with videos, being able to reach more customers, right? So you saw what Renee showed yesterday, which is Echo, giving you more tools, helping you do more. And we do all this for all of our partners because this is a complex transformation of a business model that has existed for well over 40 years. Keep this in mind, in the discussions. This business model is changing. It is changing, and it is changing fast. It will continue to change. It will continue to accelerate. The way we consume technology, we all have agreed already, it's changing radically. Somebody will tell you today that when you leave your house, and it was really funny, this actually happened twice the other day. When you leave your house, if you leave your cell phone at home, you will go home and get your cell phone. If you leave your lunch at home, you won't go back to get your lunch, but you will go home to get your cell phone. So it's funny, I was coming out of the office with Alan the other day, and he had to go home because he forgot his cell phone. I'm like, can't you go a day without your cell phone? And he just looked at me like I was crazy. But he does that quite often, actually, right? The other really interesting thing is that, when you think about that need, I'll tell you one other small anecdote. I was at the library the other day. How many people know what a library is? Right? And this is true. This is absolutely true. This was Saturday. Okay, I had to get a book for one of my daughters that they have an assignment on. So I said, hey, I'll try the library. So I went to the library. Do you know there's real money on the stage here, by the way, if anybody wants to notice it? We went to the library, and we walked around the library, and the whole round trip transaction, going back and forth, parking, finding the book, going in the computer, locating where it was inside the rack, and so on. It took about 75 minutes. And then I got back in the car with my daughter, and she looked at me. She goes, why did we just waste so much time? I could have just downloaded this on my Kindle. Is that incredible? That means even kids value time. In that case, they want to do more with their time. Right? So keep this in mind. These things are radically changing. Businesses are radically changing. Right? The business model is changing. Look, there's always going to be servers, there's always going to be data centers, there's always going to be software, there's always going to be hybrid. The only thing that you need to make a decision about is who do you partner with. You know, partner with the company that helps you continuously do more with more. And more with more is this is being transparent. This is what Ingram Micro is building and has built for you. You know, our most valuable contributors, our customers and our partners. Because we have one thing that's very different than everybody else that's in the market. We have the best people. Right? So it's all about people. It's not just about systems. You need the right people to deliver these and build these for you that understand the insights. We help you discover the right solutions. We help you integrate the solutions. We help you aggregate them, provision them, customize them, migrate them, consume them. And overall, we help you deliver the best customer experience. We continue to invest in these spaces. You will hear more exciting acquisitions. You heard about the InSim acquisition. You guys have heard about the Odin acquisition. We are investing in those technologies. And by the way, if you want to take a look at how much Ingram Micro invests in these technologies, you can look it up. It's public information. It's no small sum. Right? So, like I said before, do more with more. We're 1,500 strong in just cloud, over 700 plus engineers. I mean, that's an IT organization that's bigger than our internal IT organization, focused on customer development. We've built a roadmap. We're committed to delivering those things for you so you guys can do more with more and help transform your business. With that, I'm going to say thank you again to everybody that's come out to the show. Hope you enjoy a great evening. Say thank you again to our fantastic partners. Say thank you to all the Ingram Micro staff. Guys, everybody that's from Ingram Micro that's here for partners from around the world, can you please stand up? And that's a small representation, yeah, of who's here to help you guys do more with more. So thank you again for your business. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you to all of our partners. Enjoy your lunch. Remember to wear suntan lotion, yeah? Because even I have to wear suntan lotion here. And have a fantastic rest of the day. And we hope to see you here next year so we can give you more to do more with more. Thank you, guys.